Guys, welcome back here to the Kings of the Storm Weekly number 11. I'm Solid Jake.
And I'm Kubi.
And
They had a bit of a hiccup there with the last game, perhaps some dropped frames. Not sure what that was about, so we ended up restarting the PC.
Yep.
Hopefully things are fixed for the time being.
Usually the reset corrects that.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of a weird hiccup, but we do have our next series ready.
You guys voted for it. Tempo Storm versus Murlocs Inc. At least we saw a majority of that in the chat. So that's what we're going with. And I think we have the Stormcraft is up. The lobby's ready. So I think as long as we tell them they're good to go.
I just did.
Wow, Jake, you're so ahead of us. Love it.
So
Love
esports?
Such esports.
So banana sports?
Wow. Fun times. That was a fun game. That was a fun game. Hopefully you guys got to catch a majority of it at the least.
Could be a we in space.
Yeah, we're in space. I'm on the red side. The better side.
Blue is superior.
No.
It is currently Hoth status once again.
Yeah, it's snowing. We've had enough
think,
of this stuff.
I
man.
think we are maintaining the highest snowfall in the country. I think we've actually maintained that title. It's
Top Snow Boys!
Sick title. It sucks, though.
Oh, they're ready to go. How exciting is this? What's new with the... when was the last time we saw these guys play? Have they played yet in ESL?
I've never heard of them.
Tempo Storm? Never heard of them, huh? Not like a top team in NA or anything
No.
like that? No, not sure. Okay. Murlocs Inc. immediately going to that Illidan ban. Oh, wait, we saw these guys. Yeah, they did play last week, actually. I remember this now.
All teams play every week, Kubi.
Played against each other.
Okay.
They played against each other on Tuesday.
Okay.
Because I remember this with the... Yeah, because these guys scrim together a lot.
Yeah, that's true. They do, and that's right. And Tempo Storm did take the series.
We did see Murlocs actually grabbed Illidan and Sonya game 1.
We're gonna see if they're picked up here. But yeah, we did see that Sonya style, so that's why you're seeing the Illidan ban.
I want to see Tempo Storm play Sonya. I've seen some replays of some real disgusting Sonya play.
Okay, not valuing the Uther right away.
Yeah, what's that about? They're giving Uther away.
Almost guaranteed. Does Murloc steal Asmodan? That's my question.
They could go Uther Asmodan here. That's a very defensive style, and then you can go into... You have a ton of options to just protect. Could be Diablo. Anyway, how do you feel about this Uther giveaway? Because we're almost for sure going to see Uther picked.
Tempo Storm is a team that innovates a lot.
Yep.
And
they do set the pace for the meta.
There was Stitches.
All right.
There was a time where they really did value Mad Furion back in the day. This was when Mad Furion was playing with them.
There it is.
Obviously, Mad Furion has traded hands now. Mad Timmy, of course, now plays with Murlocs, not Tempo Storm. But back in the day, they were the only team that was running Malf in NA. So I'm interested to see what they have in mind. It could be a Twilight Dream kind of composition. It's not out of the question. But it's definitely peculiar.
Twilight Dream feels like a counter. Something you pick later on. Double healer with Brightwing. This is interesting. This is very interesting. So like I was saying with Twilight Dream, it's something that you grab probably towards the later part of your draft. Say, oh, we really need to have this extra damage and silence to deal with XYZ. Murlocs hasn't really shown anything. There's no way that they're going to get to the back line to use that to deal with Ravenous Spirit. That's just not an option. Malf will die by the time he gets there. Doesn't have the mobility to jump in. So I don't think it's going to be that. I think we're going to see a very sustain-heavy style. And honestly, if they pick Diablo, wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah.
Protect the hammer status.
Diablo or ETC are both great. They both fulfill that role very well.
Oh, yeah. I'm so used to ETC being banned out.
Yeah, he wasn't banned in the series, so he's still on the table. ETC probably more likely than Diablo, but it's definitely not out of the question.
Either Orko. I guess it's going to depend. Well, they have Stitches already, so they need damage. But what is their plan? Could they could go Sonya? We've seen them run Sonya in the past. In which case, I'd like to see them go for a bursty pickup with that DPS-wise. Ballstad, I've been saying it. It's a possibility. Overdrive into Hintoman's Blast is a nice way to secure that target. Tassadar and Asmodan. Okay, so they're going for a bit more of a sustained style. And we've actually seen the Stitches Asmodan combination work well almost on the base of threat.
Yeah.
You have the threat of the Stitches hook. It forces you to position your team in a certain way. Stalling out, you have to be very careful to deal with that. You make sure that your tank is in front of the hammer in this case. And these types of minor positioning details forces your team to slow down in terms of initiating. So you slow down, you have Asmodan. every couple seconds, not couple seconds, every like 10 seconds or so, he's throwing those globes. And if the globe efficiency is good, which it should be on Dragonshire, that hurts. And it's a cool way to play. We've seen it work very well in the past. ETC or Diablo, which are they going to grab for Tempo Storm?
I think ETC makes more sense. The threat of the dance is huge, and but at the same time, Apocalypse. Okay, no, we are going to see ETC.
Yeah,
Apocalypse can be nice when you have that Ravenous. So that's why Diablo is definitely something worth considering.
ETC is just so good though.
Yeah,
in the current meta.
He really is.
He's hands down the best tank right now. A lot of teams favor him. A lot of teams ban him out just in the start of the match. So yeah, he's very, very good. He has a lot of base ability in his kit in terms of stuns. So does Diablo, but AoE stun, AoE knockback.
Right. This is going to be really cool to see the Malfurion Brightwing. I don't think we're going to see Emerald win. There's no real reason for it. It's going to be the Cleanse, Blink, Heal, Protective Shield at level 2. Could be Pixie Dust or Bribe at level 1. I actually think they will likely opt for the Pixie Dust upgrade. And Pixie Shield, I think it's called.
And, I don't know.
Maybe Shield Dust?
Yeah, you're the support master here. I defer these
Shield
questions
Dust?
to you.
That's true. That's true. Well, teams will be ready in just a moment. Game number 1. This is a best-of-3 series.
You guys can't see it, but KO has opted to pick the second tint on the Master Skin. I don't know how I feel about that. The third tint, the black tint, is much better with the red trim. That's a nice color. This one, it's okay. I figure you would like it, Jake, just because it's got the blue, and you're on the blue side.
I like it a lot, man. It's good looking.
Game is starting. Jake is furiously trying to get the production set. Wow, look at that. He's so quick. How do you do that all the time? He gets so fast.
Shh. I don't know what we're doing. Shh.
All right, fingers crossed. We're not going to have any frame rate dropping during this game. Fingers crossed.
Guys.
Cross fingers for us.
The fingers are crossed,
Spring,
but
we need you to do that.
I'm going to do a quick shout-out.
Are you?
See, back in the day, Kubi and I used to be competitive Smash Brothers players.
Uh-huh.
And we had a crew. They were called crews. That was your group.
Oh my goodness.
We were called the Mages.
The Mages.
Now his name used to be Omega Black Mage.
Who's that?
And he's now known as the Kubi.
The Kubi.
One of the Mages is in the house, actually sitting here in the studio, watching the games live here, experiencing Heroes of the Storm in our live audience.
Yeah, we now have a live audience. How exciting is that?
We have a live audience here in the studio. I might try to set up a live audience camera.
Good luck, because last time we tried to set up
the
kitty cam, that was a disaster.
It ruined everything.
This game is taking forever to load. I am upset.
I hope it's not my computer.
I am upset. Yeah, that would be. I know it doesn't look like it is you.
No, it's not me.
Someone else is.
I'm just saying.
Please don't jinx us. Please don't do that. All right, Dragonshire. We have Hammer on Hammershire. How exciting! I love Hammer. I'm so glad that she's back.
Back in
Super
business.
strong in the meta. She's played all the time. It's so fun to watch. Love it.
All right,
Everyone's probably like, why would you want to watch Hammer? It's so boring. Yeah. Well, you know what? Eat crow.
Eat crow. Let us introduce these nerds a good luck, having fun, coming at a clown. Do they respond? Hello, friends. I am happy to meet you. Let's make this a wonderful game on this beautiful Summoner's Rift. I love you all. Have fun. This is not Summoner's Rift.
Oh, all right. You know what? While you're dealing with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the blue side here. For Tempo Storm, we have Soldier on ETC. KO's going to be playing Sergeant Hammer. Arthalon on Malfurion. Dreadnought's going to be playing Dreadnought's going to be playing Dreadnought. Brightwing and Glaurung on Vala.
And on the right side, we do have Murlocs Inc. with Mad Timmy playing as Uther. Equinox going to be playing as Tastar. Spanker is on Nazebo. Caterpillar on Stitches. And Clown rocking the Asmodan. We've seen the power on Asmodan on this map of Dragonshire. And
did a lot of work last game that we casted there.
Yeah.
That was over 450 bonus damage towards the end of the game.
I think it was... Yeah,
something
I think
around
it was 480,
there. That hurts. That hurts. Especially when you got that black pool up before everyone of those that you cast. Looking at the talents real quick, the only one that's jumping out at me is Sergeant Hammer has opted to go for that 75% reduction in CCs while in siege mode.
That's a hover siege style typically. It's just looking for the safety, and
there's not a lot of CC available on the side of Murlocs. Yeah, the hook, but the hook is gonna pull you all the way no matter what.
True.
So you have Uther stuns,
Gorge.
Yeah, it would reduce Gorge.
But why would you Gorge out of a siege? It's a very uncommon scenario for that to happen. But
right,
still, it does benefit the hover siege style, makes it a little bit more safe to do, and they're going to be really looking to do a lot of that hover siege aggression. They know there's a timer on the game when it comes onto this Asmodee. They know they need to keep that aggression on, so this hammer is likely going to be putting on as much pressure as humanly possible in this game. But Clown is actually getting put in a bit of a cheeky spot with ETC diving forward, and he's just going to have to tap the well to heal on up.
That's a good point. Well, actually, we don't see Atlanta this game. I wonder if he's busy today. Not playing. We usually see him. He's normally in the lineup, especially in the ESL games. I was going to say, he's usually on Stitches, and has been going for a slam build recently. We see the Chew Your Food picked up for Stitches in this game.
Yep, Equinox is a normal sub for them, though.
Yes,
he is in fact an official member of the team. So Equinox stepping in for Atlanta.
Ooh. KO just barely getting out of that zombie wall. That probably would have been his death had he not been able to execute that in time. Still, they hold, and by that I mean Temple Storm have control of this bottom shrine. The top lane is Stitches versus Brightwing. While the sustain is there for Brightwing, Stitches is known to be a very solid laner. He's going to have control of that top shrine for some time until there is a rotation present from Temple Storm.
Yeah, Dread's doing a good job on Brightwing, like just kind of making sure the lane is soaked and staying safe. But like you said, it's going to be near impossible for her to actually hold this. The hook does go out. Dread does half cap, removes the cap of the enemy team, and does not fully take control of it. But it's just nice to be able to be annoying in that regard.
Right, you have to, at some point, weigh how many tower shots do we want to try to avoid having our towers throw out, or do we take that shrine? Is it super important? Like I said, Stitches is a very good laner. They're going to be going up to contest that at the moment. Still, though, mid lane, it's very common to see Tassadar's tasked with holding. Get it, Tassadar, tasked. Oh, yeah, that's my one bad pun for the day. Let me have it.
It's not even a pun.
What? How is it not a pun? Tassadar, it's like, I guess like alliteration, play on words, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. That's my one for the day. I'm going to hold that.
Hold that. Well, the Globe of Annihilation going to be soaking up a few minions there, getting the bonus damage as it continues to get stronger. Just taking a check-in. 46, like we said in the last game, takes a bit for that to start to scale, especially once you hit level 10. You get the black pool, much easier to soak the minions.
Right.
And they do have the Tassadar combo, so soaking the waves with Tassadar, something they're going to be looking to do, something they've been doing all game in the middle.
Look at this bottom lane. Soldier is playing the game, and that game is protect. The Hammer is doing a great job. Wow, look at this. Okay, the dimensional shift is enough to get him out of this situation.
That's a dead Equinox.
It is, with Volley jumping in there. Of course, that is Glaurung on the ball of this game.
So first blood going to Temple Storm, nicely done, and they're going to take this momentum to pick up the first Merc camp of the game as well, the aggressive Giants, and they can use this opportunity to rotate around and grab more Merc camps if they want. Because
they could actually kill Asmodee here. Is he a little bit too far out of position? If ETC gets on the other side of him and dashes in, knocks him back with the loudspeakers, that could be a problem. Not the case.
They're just going to
recognizes the situation, backs up.
I like this call, though, to just like say, hey, let's rotate, take more towers, because they've already got the bottom towers. They're not going to get that fort without some serious retaliation. And they're going to be able to pick up these towers, continue their quest to level 10. Once they hit 10, then they're going to really put that aggression on. Napalm Strike keeps those lanes pushed back super far.
Ooh, are they going to be able to capture this here? It's going to be.
I think they are.
Other than that side
the globe was wasted to pick up the stack, so they don't have that globe for a little while.
I feel like well, they really want ETC in the Dragonite, but he's probably one of the best in terms of denying enemy members from pushing forward to take it. As it is, they're still retaining Soak in all of these lanes. Even Glaurung is putting a bit of pressure down at bottom.
Yeah, picking up
and they're about to hit level 10. Like, the Temple Storm already has a level lead going into this. And, they have... Yes, there is Asmodee available for Murlocs, so being a little bit behind is maybe okay right now if they're playing safe, continuing to soak up, get those stacks for the Globe of Annihilation. They can't fall too far behind, though, and getting a Dragonite just after 10, while you have that timing attack where you don't have your heroics, a lot of damage can be done.
And Dread going to be phase shifting down to bribe these two Giants. Those Giants will be annoying, and the Shrines are trading over to the side of Murloc Sync. So they're going to be able to hold both Shrines, but picking up a Dragonite with 4 members of Temple Storm in the middle, not really going to be a feasible thing here.
See that Blink Heal once again, and Cleanse were grabbed.
Okay, so full-on support style. They pick up both Tranquility and Blink Heal. Yes. We see Strafe because there's not a whole lot of stuns. I mean, it's just Uther and Stitches that have stuns available, and it's going to be Mosh Pit.
Enduring Growth over Loon's Grace? You have a lot of sustain already.
It's interesting. I don't necessarily think one is better than the other in this situation.
Caterpillar getting rotated
the
onto in the top lane. It does lose his life. ETC will be able to cap this top shrine. It splits the shrines 1 for 1. Both teams, no one's going to be able to grab the Dragon Knight just yet. Actually, Brightwing has now rotated to the bottom, will be able to cap the shrine, and we're going to need to see a lot of pressure from Murlocs to make sure to get that denied from Tempo Storm. The Side Storm goes down.
All right, so let me talk about Elun's, or the growth a little bit more. This is just them respecting the power of Asmodee. They know this style better than anyone else, so they're going for the super heal style to heal through that. So even if the Asmodee is hitting incredibly hard, they're going to have so much healing to get them through that and get them to level 20 and then even be on relatively decent terms at that point.
You see the Putrid Bile was grabbed for the Stitches. How do I feel about that? They don't have a lot of burst potential to eliminate those who might get gorged. I think I'm okay with this. It also slows people down for chases with Ravenous Spirits. I think that there's enough synergy there to justify grabbing it. Dreadnought will be able to cap this bottom shrine. The Putrid Bile is popped in order to get Caterpillar out of there. Will be enough. I think Larong is going to be able to chase. The Frost Shot goes down, and it is enough. Stitches falls once again. He's been getting himself caught out of position to try and cap these shrines. Yeah, I'm not sure it's worth it because they're finding themselves now almost down 2 levels.
It's a nice big lead here for Temper Storm, and they without Stitches as being a threat, they can push so safely with this hammer. I mean, we just see the healing word going down. Hammer is just sitting in place at the max range, unleashing that damage. Glaurung's in position to try to cap the Dragon Knight, but Tassadar will deny that.
And while all this is going on, there's a large push on the top side for Tempo Storm. They did manage to get this keep. Soldier is glued to the side of KO, protecting that hammer. And for good reason, left alone in that siege mode, she can get a lot of damage done. As we can see, looking at those damage charts, she is topping damage on the Tempo Storm side of things, so very much justified to put a lot of resources into protecting that hammer.
Yep, Azmodan sitting at 154 bonus damage at this point, so the farm is going pretty well for him, and each team just kind of rotating around the map, grabbing the bruiser camps. Level 13 talents, nothing really standing out at me. Again, leaning towards this max sustainability.
That is like full sustain.
But I like sprint here, but it's also very weird.
Yeah, it is.
Because you have Blink Heal. Blink Heal is mobility. You're giving up Ice Block for sprint. Typically, if you see sprint, it's when you're leaning to Emerald Wind. Right. Because you can get into position, throw a quick Emerald Wind, and either sometimes you sprint into position, sometimes you sprint out. And it really depends on the situation. But this bottom shrine being heavily contested, and that zombie wall will try to stop Soldier, but it's not going to be quite enough. All 5 members here of Tempo Storm and Azmodan and Stitches are soaking those top and mid lanes.
Absolutely, Stitches is going to hold this top shrine. If a fight is won, or perhaps one member dies for Tempo Storm, that will be a dragon picked up very quickly. As we can see, the Azmodan is still pushing in the mid lane. Tempo Storm backing up to take these bruiser camp in the bottom lane. This will allow them a bit more pressure to soak tower shots from this bottom fort. They might have their eyes set on capturing this. Depends on the rotation, and ETC has backed up, so they won't be able to siege this too hard just yet.
Yeah, without ETC there protecting the hammer, KO does have to be a bit more cautious, but they are well aware that Stitches is nowhere near this fight. Stitches in the top lane,
right.
Asmodan's making his way down, but the hook threat it's not there.
It's not there, and that's really what's going to shut this down. And since it's not there, and Stitches does not have the mobility to fly back like you would expect to see from like a Brightwing or an ETC with stage dive. So yeah, you're going to get a lot of pressure up here, but all it is you have Asmodan's general and a set of knights. Is that really going to get the same efficacy as them pushing with 4 heroes in the bottom lane? I'm not sure.
You'd be surprised at how much General Hell can do, but
yes.
You're absolutely right in saying that the one Stitches versus that. I think their logic is, look, we need to catch up in experience. We really need to catch up in experience.
It's a good point. They do need to get that level 16 set of talents. We do see the Hover Siege for Sergeant Hammer, going to allow for quite a bit of mobility. Opted to go for the safer play in that of Giant Killer. You're going to get that guaranteed damage, whereas if you picked up First Strike, yeah, suffering that one hit of damage will lose you 25% bonus damage.
I think this is a good call overall, especially when you consider that they have both Azmodan and Stitches. Both those heroes have massive health pools. So the Giant Killer, of course, scales based on their health pool.
Good point to bring up as well. Always going to be effective against Stitches, but sometimes you just forget how much health Azmodan actually has.
It's scary.
Of course, Giant Killer is a 1.5% addition to every auto attack based on their max health pool.
That's going to add up very quickly. Glowering is going to manage to pick up a Dragonite here, and the Tempo Storm aggression is on.
Just before 16 is hit, they just grabbed it. Double Imposing Presence. Once again, we were talking about how it affects
Hammer.
Siege mode. In this case, she does have Hover Siege, so she's going to be using it quite a bit. If the splash damage trickles over onto someone who has Imposing Presence, you lose that 50% attack speed. That's a big deal, especially when you're considering that it's going to be going to Nexus Frenzy, where everything is focused on auto attacks. We do see the Specialized Toxin, full dimensional shift build, and quite a bit of pressure is being applied to this keep wall.
Now, the Global Annihilations are hitting very hard, but the sustainability between the Malfurion with Life Seed, the Brightwing with the Pulsing and Blink Heal, they have so much free healing that doesn't even cost mana, plus the Healing Ward, and then, of course, their heals on top of that.
Right.
It's almost laughable. It's just like, okay, try to damage us. We have so much healing. 31 and 20k.
Only the wall was taken down from that dragon. It actually fell fairly quickly, and the soak is continuing to add up. He's running about average 130, 140 stacks at the moment. Of course, wants to try to get that 200 benchmark by the time he hits level 20.
Yep,
So
and
not
of
too
course,
bad.
every stack gives you 2 damage. So that does add up very
Heads
quickly.
up. Every wave giving you plus, what, 24 damage? No.
Yeah, there's 14
No.
minions in a wave? 16 minions? We should know this.
28.
This is bad.
28. Plus 28 damage. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. 14 damage. Plus 14.
Yeah.
Math. We didn't follow our own rule. We can't do math.
Yeah, that is a rule on stream. Never do math. Never try to count or do math on stream. And, well, this middle fort is the last fort standing for Murlocs Inc. Hammer is in hover mode.
Right.
And
now pay attention to Soldier's positioning in relation to... Oh, and he finds the gap. He gets in. But, of course, no Gorge was picked up. So that forces him to unsiege. It sort of does break the pressure that's being applied in a really nice Global of Annihilation thrown down, hitting 3 members of Tempo Storm. Caterpillar posturing himself once again. Hook is probably off cooldown at about right now, and he can throw it out again. This is the time the Tempo Storm backs up. They realize they've overstayed their welcome. No longer going to be able to push. So you can see how the power of the hook, even though they didn't get a kill onto Hammer, it stopped the push entirely.
yeah, it's exactly
Nicely
what you
played
need.
for Murlocs. That's the kind of play we need to see to get them back in the game. And if they're able to chain these hooks together with Hammer of Justice from Uther, follow that into a Divine Storm, that's a lot of time.
Zombie Wall, they have a lot of options.
Yes,
They really
that
do.
gives time for Zombie Wall, and then he's going to have to use Barricade to get out of the wall, in which case you might have enough time. You've opened yourself a window to get that sort of quote-unquote burst damage. If it is possible to zone out the healers in that time, you might be able to pick yourself up a kill on Hammer. And that's really what all of Tempo Storm's team is built around. And if you can pull out that keystone from the team, you can probably swing yourself a huge team fight.
There's the power of the roots, zoning that out, the enduring growth of Malfurion, giving you so much range and or just size on the root. Caterpillar in the front line. Did use Putrid Bile, I believe?
I thought I heard it.
I guess it got canceled out. So the startup happened, but it got canceled.
Hasn't no cooldown showing for us, so I heard the sound of it starting up, and then there was no trail behind it, so it never went
That's,
up.
of course, that disgusting filth sound
Yes.
that you heard on the stream. Glauron getting pulled in by the hook, and he's in a bad spot, taking a lot of damage, but
Yeah,
doesn't
he
mind too much. He's just going to throw down all the damage he can on this Dragonite. Back up as he's getting low, because that is a Valor within there, and he needs to be careful. The stun coming out from Mad Timmy's Uther, and Stitches in the front line, and now using Putrid Bile. But I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. The Strafe is just doing an incredible quantity of damage. Matt Timmy with the protective shield staying alive. Spanker gonna lose his life. No! The shielding from Tassadar just enough to keep him alive, but the keep has fallen.
Oh, a whiffed Global of Annihilation there. The Strafe was doing so much damage. While it didn't kill anyone, all but guaranteed the Tempo Storm will be able to take this bottom keep. They now have a lot more pressure in the form of catapults pushing down this lane, and they can shift their focus elsewhere. They back up. They bribe this bottom Giant camp. They can go down and take the Bruiser camp. They have so much map presence. There's also a Bruiser camp, well, just about dead up top, but still that wave is pushed very far forward. Tempo Storm has a very nice sort of chokehold on the presence available on the map. They're going to be able to have almost a 4 giant push. Murlocs Inc. is cleaning the set of giants up, but again, the pressure is just constant. And they're just about to hit level 20.
Yeah, they're just a few seconds away from hitting that level 20 like you mentioned. And we're going to see the advantage of those talents being picked up. ETC, what does he pick? We got the blink, we got the blink, we got the blink!
Bolt, bolt, boys! Also a Storm Shield. Advanced Lava Strike, no Nexus Frenzy. Now, Advanced Lava Strike is more range, a lot more range on the low Lava Strike, and 50% more damage on the impact. That adds up over time when you're considering a 6-second cooldown for that heroic.
I think his target is this guy.
It could be that guy. He can definitely hit him. The range is insane. 75% more range to an already ridiculous far-shooting heroic. Yeah, it's good.
Wow, I mean, Tempo Storm putting that...
You know what? It just occurred to me why he grabbed that. It's the imposing presence.
Ah.
He says, okay, there's like almost no way I'm going to not hit someone that has imposing presence. I'll take advanced lava strike. I can get a lot of guaranteed damage out of it.
That's actually really smart and reactionary. Well done picking up that talent. The Knights being blown up here in the bottom. Those Giants will fall in just a moment. And the Temples are being picked up by Tempo Storm.
They are. And there's this constant siege coming out of KO, throwing down those lava strikes every 6 seconds onto this, and they can just constantly keep firing it. It's so safe for them to do it. And Murlocs have to make a play. They need to. All these team fights have been going fairly even, but there's always so much more siege damage being done. They keep getting these dragons. They have to find a solution. Now is the time to do it. They need to turn this game around. They don't have level 20, but they need to figure something out here.
Yeah, Asmodan, he does have the 400 bonus damage, but is it enough to defend this fight? The Dance picking up both Mad Timmy and Stitches. The Ravenous coming reactionarily, trying to push them back, but the Storm Shield, the Tranquility, it's keeping everyone alive. Soldier very low, dashing back. The double support is just proving to be too much sustainability.
They had the combo. They had Ravenous Spirit. They had a Divine Storm to lock it down. The one target they were almost able to kill got cleansed and walked away. Once you back up from that situation, the double support is going to be more than enough to heal that person back up to full. They just had no way to cut through the double support, get enough damage down onto the target, and start up a team fight in their favor. Not that they had a necessarily bad draft, it just, I guess, over time, Asmodan didn't have enough efficiency to cut through that double support.
And we've mentioned, how do you beat Asmodan? Well, you have to be able to apply enough pressure to push and end the game soon enough. And it was a 17-minute game, but they always had a level lead because they were constantly pushing with that hammer. Right. And the hammer seemed to just have enough power to keep driving those structures down, keeping the aggression on. They got a pretty early keep, and Asmodan was always on the defensive. They were always back in their base. So he couldn't run around and farm all 3 lanes. His stacks were fine in the end anyways, but...
I just realized... Good points. But flawless victory for Tempo Storm. No one died.
Oh my goodness.
No one died. I mean, that
it
goes
was a low kill game, but
yeah. And that goes back to the whole they didn't have enough burst.
Double support.
Just didn't have enough. They did their jobs. They did their jobs.
And every time we saw the globe come down, I mean, the blink heal, the life seed would go off, the pulsing from Brightwing. It was actually, I mean, it's just damage control, and like literally damage control, and they were controlling the damage. So, Tempo Storm going to take game number 1. This is a best-of-3 series, though, but I think that's the first tournament match where I've ever seen an Asmodan lose. I think that's actually, as far as I've casted, and I haven't watched a lot of Asmodan in other tournaments, because typically when I'm watching tournaments, it's EU, and they don't really play Asmodan very much. But that could be the first Asmo loss.
Didn't we just see Asmodan lose?
That's what I said.
No, I mean the previous series.
Did he lose?
Didn't APM play Asmodan? Am I wrong?
He's calling me out so hard here.
I don't have the rest of the draft right now. I was like, I should have filled this out, so I'll refer to this later. I can't remember who I was going to play. All right, whatever. It's not important. Look at you.
I have no idea. Trying to make 6 stats. I could be completely wrong. Kubi making me uncertain on my statistics that don't actually mean anything in the end anyway. So, wow. Guys, we're going to get ready for our second series between Tempo Storm and Murlocs Inc. So you stay with us. We will be back in just a few minutes.
Whoa.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to
Whoa. Kings of the Storm.
Of course, my score was a little dated there. Tempo Storm is up 1-0 in this series. This guy is the Kubi.
And this guy's Solid Jake. Ooh.
Dance
nice
moves.
shirt.
Nice shirt. My new
That's right.
employer, if you will.
Yeah.
ESL.
Congratulations.
Working with those guys, doing some cool stuff for Heroes of the Storm moving forward.
That's right. Community's growing. It's getting bigger.
I actually
More
used
tournaments.
I refereed for them at an event once, and that's why I have this jersey. It's a ref jersey. It says like event referee on the back. So.
Yes, it does.
But you guys don't know that, and I think it says, what does it say? The league that matters.
Ooh,
the league that
bold
matters.
statement.
Okay, we got our Stormcraft link. We're gonna get that rolling in just a second.
Do we have the Stormcraft link?
Yes, Mr. Dreadnought sends it to me.
What a guy. That Dreadnought, he's a cool dude. Any of you guys going to PAX, we're going to be there.
PAX
Myself and Jake.
East.
Also, Steve will be there, as far as I know.
Some other nerds sound like they're gonna be there.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people there. So if you guys happen to be in the area, come find us. Look for Jake's ridiculous hair. I'm sure I'll have a Town Hall shirt on at least one of the days that I'm there. So come find us, chat us up, talk about Heroes, talk about whatever. You guys want to talk about pizza? You want to
Play
talk
the
about
sweet new heroes that are going to be unveiled. We hope
Yes.
they're going to be playable. So
This is going to be a massive line, so make sure
Yeah.
you
So we know that it's going to be Hearthstone, Overwatch, and Heroes of the Storm at the Blizzard booth. And there's a Blizzard panel at 10:30 a.m. So if you really want to find us, that's probably the best way to find us because we're going to be there no matter what.
Right.
But honestly, I'm praying for the embodiment of Christmas.
The embodiment
Sylvanas.
of Christmas.
I want her to be playable. I've been wanting to play her since the day I was born.
Really? That's impressive.
I mean, I've said this before.
born
We
to
used to
play
play Smash competitively. What was my avatar in the forums? Sylvanas. It was like 8 years ago.
I don't
9
blame him.
years ago.
All right, so the draft is up real quick. I do want to cover some of the teams that have moved forward. We do have, right now is happening Barrel Boys versus Maelstrom. I think Sheth is casting that right now. I don't know who's casting with or what channel that is. Hopefully Kings of the Storm has tweeted that out. If they haven't, I'm sorry, guys, but see if you can find Sheth somewhere casting those. Also, Losers Bracket, we see Vortex is advanced. 8 p.m., they're going to be playing each other, and Beyond Reason advances over Vivid Gaming. That's interesting.
Cool.
And I think Wildfire beat MIM, so that's going to be Wildfire versus Beyond Reason and Losers. Enough of that, though. We got to hop real quick into this draft. We hop this monitor over, and I can see that Illidan was banned out for Tempo Storm. ETC banned out on Murlocs, and Rhaegar was picked up almost immediately. So if you don't have either of the two top-tier supports banned out right away, Tempo Storm, they pick up Rhaegar. I imagine Murlocs will pick up Uther and their choice of tank if that's what they prioritize. They could go for double support if they want to go for Uther Mouth.
Let's just think. We just saw double support Mouth Brightwing. A bit new, a bit different, and it looked incredibly successful. Like it was incredibly successful. Yep. The Asmodee was doing 1,000 damage, and they just negated it with the heals. But Zebo is going to be the first hero they prioritize here, and
Zebo is still so strong. He's been so stable since December timeframe. He's always going to be a good pick, even with direct counters being played that are like weird heroes. For Diablo, for example, yeah, he's kind of like a direct counter to Nazeebo. Still gets played. Even when Murden was there, always in his face with Avatar, still gets played. I think it's going to be... We're going to need to see heavy nerfs for Nazeebo before he stops being in this top pick. I think he was 100% last picked, or 100% pick banned, sorry, in the last... through the last tournament, right?
Zebo?
Yeah.
I believe you're
Even
correct.
since this last patch, he's been 100% pick banned. Nazeebo always a very, very solid pickup. And that Malfurion. Oh, how do you feel about Malf over Uther?
You know,
this leaves Temple Storm with the ability to pick up Uther. They choose not to. They're going for Stitches. I feel like I haven't seen Temple Storm play Stitches in a while, or at least picked up earlier in their draft.
No, we saw it last week, but it was always a late pick. It was always a late pick. Soldier was playing some Stitches, or I guess that was 2 weeks.
It was, yeah.
2 weeks ago now, was it? No, that was in ESL. We cast so many tournaments now.
So we had mentioned that Stitches might get picked up early because ETC has been banned out. If they want to have a choice in which of their warriors are grabbed, Stitches is still considerably better than the other warriors they could grab. Be that Muradin or Diablo for a more traditional warrior. They could go Sonya. I was just about to say that. We do see that picked up from Murlocs. They could go... Oh, Illidan's banned out. Sonya... I mean, it's not double support on the Temple Storm side of things, so they don't have to heavily prioritize damage.
Do you think... Do you take Uther here, though? If you have Sonya... Uther's still in the table.
Uther Sonya is a disgusting combo.
Yeah.
It is disgusting. I've seen that make so many plays, end games, just the two of them by themselves.
Leap
in
Storm.
to Divine Storm, to Root, to Zombie Wall, to Ravenous Spirit.
Oh, don't stop.
I just threw
stop
up.
talking.
I just threw up on the table. I just threw up thinking about it. Could be real bad.
Confirmed Kubi's a cat and he just vomits everywhere all the time. Well,
presents. Just leave presents.
Around
the house.
That's what they're called. It is Uther. Okay, so the double support, the mouth.
Okay,
Uther
yeah, I really like
Sonya,
that grab.
Yeah,
I think it's smart.
It's incredibly smart, and it's going to be incredibly hard to deal with. There's still a ton of... I mean, look at this. Look at this draft. Fala, Tychus, Tassadar, untouched. At this late in the draft, it's
I've noticed that Tychus has not been being picked up too much.
No.
Even Tempo Storm, KO had been playing a ton of Tychus. He makes a lot of use out of Tychus, and during all the team fights, he knows how to position himself really well. Even still, not picked up too often. I wonder. I mean, he was playing Hammer last game, so he may continue to do so. Dreadnought, I imagine, will be on Rhaegar. And Sondor, of course, on Stitches.
I think with the changes, Hammer is always going to be prioritized over Tychus. I don't know. It's just a matter of
look at that
efficiency. But yeah, that we're seeing Brightwing again. So many people told me Brightwing was RIP. I told them they were wrong. They told me the same thing about Rhaegar
I think you
once.
actually mentioned that last night we were playing games. You're like, you kids, you were wrong about Brightwing.
Yeah, I said that to the competitive player.
Did they disagree?
Called them out.
Did they disagree?
Well, like,
I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't remember. What?
Jake, play the Gazlo music. He's like, oh wait, I don't have Gazlo music? That's not Gazlo music. That's not Gazlo music. Turn that off. Is there even Gazlo? I don't think there is.
Yeah, in theory I could have played the Gadget Zan theme song, but I don't have that handy because I wasn't ready for the Gazlo pick.
Let's talk about why that's a weird pick. Or not really weird, but you don't ever see Gazlo grabbed. And actually, if you want to let the teams know that they are good to go, we can get into the match, and we'll talk about Gazlo a little bit more. He's a rare pickup. He sort of works in the sense of a little bit clunkier style Hammer. Hammer works well in situations where you know where a teamfight's going to be. You can siege up, set up with mines, etc. Gazlo is also a very setup-heavy hero, and we've seen Gazlo attempted on this map in particular because you know the shrines are popping up. You can throw down 2 to 3 turrets on those shrines before the fight even begins. The fight didn't end so well. We haven't seen very good use of Gazlo yet. I don't know if it's because Gazlo is in an unplayable state right now, or if it's just he wasn't used to his maximum potential.
The last time we saw Gazlo was versus Tempo Storm. And they would just come in, they would see those turrets,
get rid of them really fast.
They would remove them slowly.
Maybe they need they need to put them further back.
And then once the turrets were cleaned up, they would reinitiate, and they would take the fight. And they won that game.
They did.
They made it look easy. They made it look easy. They really did.
I played Gazlo last night. It felt terrible. So
It was
we're gonna
terrible.
need to see some magic.
Oh my goodness! Never do that again.
Okay.
Because Kubi would just see things, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna throw my gravel bomb at it."
Yeah, it's pretty easy to walk out of the gravel bomb range. I figured this out, and
Yeah, you figured it out a little bit too late.
did.
Because we got wrecked that game.
yeah, I was trying to get my specialist quest done. Just leave me alone. Okay, it was a quick match. We weren't try harding, all right. Just leave me alone, okay?
Kubi.
God.
Kubi. Less talking about us, more talking about these nerds on the screen.
That you need to swap sides for?
Hey, I didn't show the graphic yet. All right.
Okay, just double
I'm
check.
on it.
You know
I'm
what?
on it.
While you're doing that, I'll get into introducing these teams. Does that sound like a fair trade? Sound like a fair trade? Let's do it. All right. On the blue side, for Murlocs Inc., we have Caterpillar on Sonya. Mad Timmy's going to be playing Malfurion. Spanker on Gazlo. Cloud's going to be playing Nazebo, and Equinox on Uther. And Jake, if you want to real quick hop over to the other side for us, we have on Team Temple Storm for the red side, we have Arthlon on Rhaegar. Well, that's interesting. Oh, that's right. Of course, Dreadnought will be playing Brightwing. Glaurung's going to be on Vala once again. KO on Sergeant Hammer one more time, and Soldier will be playing Stitches.
All right.
Fun times.
Got that working. Caterpillar immediately takes a lot of damage, but he's going to back it up. They do have the double support on both teams in this game. So we have Rhaegar Brightwing versus Malf Uther. I don't know if this is anything I don't think I've ever seen double support versus double support. So it's going to be
That's a funny thing to yeah.
It's going to be a pretty interesting game.
And that can happen when none of the supports get banned out during the pick ban phase. And if you guys notice, the turrets went down on that watchtower for good reason. The teams do prioritize grabbing the watchtower early game because the vision covers the middle temple. Gives you a good setup. You can see all the bushes that are in the area. You can't get flanked. You can't get party bushed. Makes for a good time setting up on that tower, or that temple.
We actually have a support bottom lane, which is new. It is a new thing.
It makes sense for Brightwing to be down there because of the
does.
mobility that she has on phase shift, which is available every 45 seconds. She'll make sure that it is something she can cast to warp right up to that lane. Uther, though, is going to have a little bit more trouble. He's going to have to mount up and run up there.
Wow.
He may stay down there to get soaked. We'll have to pay attention to that. Spanker.
Temple Storm knew that Spanker wanted to collect the mana. When your turrets expire, you can actually salvage them as well. They leave a little bolt, I guess, a little nut, and you pick that up and it gives you some mana retention. This little thing here, if you collect that, it gives you mana. So they knew he wanted to collect that, and they put on so much damage, almost picking up the kill.
Punishing him, perhaps, for trying to collect them. Now, the reason that he is so adamant about grabbing these is, of course, he did grab the Break It Down talent at level 1. Every time he collects those bolts, he gets his cooldowns reducing 3 times as fast.
So that's 3 times more turrets.
And just 3 times more turrets, that's much faster gravel bombs. If he chooses to go for that, I imagine he will. No sense in grabbing that when you have Robo Goblin, which is it's almost a passive heroic, the only passive heroic in the game.
A Clown was sitting on this top temple, and he's going to get bullied off. Mad Timmy getting hooked in very low on mana, and just going to back on up. Tap the well. No well available. Mad Timmy is actually going to be forced to Hearth back.
Tempo Storm with very strong presence on both of these temples. Caterpillar is putting a bit of pressure on KO. Speared almost falls to the spear into slam combo. Murlocs Inc. is able to get a bit of pressure. They're going to be able to cap the end of this, although not that much damage. Soldier still holding control of that top, and we can see that the level advantage is very apparent. And that's due to those towers being gone.
I mean, it makes a difference. Another thing to point out is you notice most of the members were fighting over that middle lane. That's because the middle lane does provide more experience if you do get the complete discharge. The reason being is the top temple will prioritize this well before the second tower or the third tower, and the middle lane is quite the opposite, where this third tower is the target before the well. So just a neat little tidbit of information.
Tempo Storm is getting a little bit greedy, going for the enemy's giant camp, and Caterpillar, we can see, is going in, he's checking the situation. He might dive in to apply some pressure. If he gets a little bit of backup from his team, no, it looks as though there's enough of a rotation from Tempo Storm to secure this. They get the offensive giants, and that's going to tie up Murlocs Inc. for just a short amount of time, and they can use this to rotate around, go back, take their giants. They're holding map control, and this has been said to be a somewhat snowbally map. If you can hold map control, while that's the case for a lot of maps, it's much more punishing on Sky Temple.
Yeah, once you have that lead, it's definitely a map where you can maintain the lead. And the rotations are here, both teams just making sure they soak. Bottom lane presently not being soaked with Brightwing having that phase shift happen. And just kind of looking at the builds really quick, it's full support style once again. Brightwing going to be picking up the Cleanse of Protective Shield. They have the Bribe. We see Rhaegar with every supporting talent possible, not opting for Farsight, going for that Feral Heart, making sure they have the maintain.
No cleanse on Uther. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's going to be such a hard game for kills to happen at all. I mean, 0-0 in terms of kills. We're going to see Trank. We're going to see Divine Storm. But yeah, that's a good thing to point out.
No cleanse.
No cleanse.
And there's targets to cleanse for especially Hook. That's going to be a big deal if he decides to go for Putrid Bile Stitches. It'll help targets to escape if that becomes a problem. The root on Rhaegar's stun. If Rain of Vengeance is grabbed, so there's some reason to grab it. I'm not sure the Holy Devotion is the right way to go. A lot of turret style, extra charges in the turret. Basic attacks increase the duration for turrets. Again, everything is pointing towards that. Hope we can get to the turret ahead of the enemy team, set up a lot of turrets down there, hold that position, make it difficult for them to get in without taking too much damage. However,
look at this position. Look at this position.
Yeah, Hammer is pretty good at doing that as well. Yeah, you can actually run up on those steps. It's just really funny looking.
He got knocked back.
He got knocked up there.
But it's still actually very interesting, and not having to worry about a hook because you have Stitches on your team, it's a nice thing to have. And while they maintain this temple, they know they don't have a lot of aggression with Nazebo and Sonya completely out of this fight. They're just going to siege up this bottom fort, and they're going to try to blow it up, and I think they will get it.
Very close, not quite, but with the temple activating, they absolutely will. Heroics have been picked up for both teams. We can get into discussing some of these. On the Murlocs Inc. side of things, we do have Leap, Tranquility, Gravel Bomb, Ravenous Spirit, and Divine Storm. And on the Temple Storm side, Jake, what do we have?
Oh, that's Ancestral, Blink, Heal, Strafe, Napalm, and Bile. Let's Bile for a while. It seems to be the new style. And
God. Rhyme Master over here. Yeah, I had mentioned the Putrid Bile might be an opportunity grab here. It's going to be difficult to isolate targets with this style, this team comp that Tempo Storm has opted to go for. Even if they gorge someone and pull them out of position, the supports will likely be able to get close enough to provide heals. So I can understand completely why they would go for it. How about Gravel Bomb? Do you think it's the only way that Gazlo will possibly be viable?
On this map, yes.
Okay.
I think on a different map, if we were to ever see Gazlo, we would probably not see Gravel Bomb. I think we would actually see the Shredder. But that's something that really gets incredibly powerful at level 20. So maybe on Guarded, that becomes a viable thing, because at 20 does a bonus, 150% bonus damage to heroic targets, aka the enemy heroes. But on this map, that damage is negligible when you consider how powerful the temples are.
That's right. And Temple Storm holding a bit of forward position.
There's the hook going out, and he's going to pick up Gazlo into that incredibly big chokehold, forcing out the Gravel Bomb and the Heroic Leap with that Ravenous Spirit coming out. I don't know if they're going to be able to pick up Soldier. The Strafe is just doing so much damage after that. The force engagement of that Stitches is real, taking down 3 members. Clown backing out. They leave these Giants to be picked up. The hook on Clown is going to be enough, and the body blocks from Arthlon are real with this Rhaegar. Not going to get Uther, but oh my goodness, what a big engagement, and they get a free boss too.
I wish I had seen how much hero damage Hammer had before that fight and then afterwards, because he was sitting in the middle of that the entire time, pelting the entire enemy team that kept him alive. All of the heals went down onto Hammer. They tried to kill him. Couldn't do it. Of course, that whole fight started with a nice hook onto Gazlo. Almost turned around, actually, with the Sonya leaping in.
Yeah, the Gravel
just didn't quite have enough
Gravel
damage.
Leap is cool, but
they only caught one target with it.
Right,
and I think that ended up being the big problem. You need to at least catch 2 people, ideally 3, to start off those team fights in your favor. I mean, you have the Gravel Bomb into Leap into... I mean, you can also use the Leap to set up for the Gravel Bomb. We talked about how it's actually quite possible if you just see the bomb start up, just walk out of it. Not something that is, you know, not possible for a lot of heroes to do. So if you need to use the Leap to set that up, it's going to need some communication there, probably a style that a lot of these teams aren't used to working with, but we will have to see.
Well, Temple Storm is currently controlling both temples. They're going to leave KO alone here to finish up this top temple, while these 2 members do push on in to make sure they soak that lane and take those Giants down.
Cleanses himself to get out.
Yep.
Nicely done. Dread held more than half of bottom temple. It's quite a bit more push, and you can see structure-wise, things are not looking so good for Murlocs.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure is on this
boss. They are
boss.
down 2 levels. Yeah.
Keeping Nazebo back here. and did a good chunk of damage with the Giants. And look at the Mercs. They're just picking up more bruisers. They're pushing this top lane down. The bottom lane is already taking damage. All 3/4 are down. And meanwhile, they have all of their structures still standing.
That's right. Level 16 was just acquired for Tempo Storm. We do see Hover Siege, full slam talents picked up, Mega Smash and Pulverize, 4 stitches, Blood for Blood, Critterize, Earth Gust. So a lot more stuns, some survivability for these heroes. At this point in time, Jake, because they are down just about 3 levels, 2.5 or so, they need to do something drastic. They need to take a massive team fight, Murlocs does. And we were talking about this leap into Grapple Bomb style. They need to make it happen. There's a lot of pressure here to perform for Murlocs.
Soldier is just looking for the hook. Oh my goodness, it was so
Now it's the time to get aggressive.
close.
Now is the time to go in. There's no threat for the hook. You can allow for some positioning mistakes. I wish they would get a little more aggressive here. It's the only way you're going to come back. They're going to just get slowly suffocated.
I think that's what's exactly going to happen here. They're looking for the prime
Okay, this
opportunity
is
for
it.
that leap. Where's the Gravel Bomb? He's a little bit too far back. He's not able to combo that. It's going to pull in a few members. The instant healing does go off on KO, keeping him alive. And here comes that Ravenous Spirit, but it gets stunned out almost immediately. They're staying alive with the Uther Malfurion, but the damage from that hammer is just so much.
It's funny, with the resistant talent picked up for Sergeant Hammer and the combination of Cleanse, Leap does absolutely nothing. They just save it for whatever target gets leaped upon, and he just moves immediately afterwards. It's just so funny to see that you're essentially spending a 70-second cooldown heroic, and you're just getting a little bit of damage out of it. So they have to try to hit a lot more targets with what they did. You saw one person, I think it was Rhaegar, got caught with the Gravel Bomb into bomb combo. Still not enough. They're down. The level gap's getting worse.
I mean, Gaz wasn't in position for the Gravel Bomb either, so that was kind of a miscommunication there. And Equinox is going to end up falling, picked up the kill with Stripe, the level advantage, making it looks like they have, they're made of paper. They're just evaporating every time they get damaged. 3 levels down. It's a huge deficit.
I want to say that soaking, when you're behind, you want to try to play a little bit passively, but they can't. They don't have that option right now. I mean, right now, they have to wait, of course, until the rest of the team is up. Wait for those heroics, make one more attempt, try to force a position where
they can take a fight, turn some temples around, they can get back in this.
Yeah, if they can take like a 4-for-1 or a 5-for-1 or something to that effect, yeah, that will do a lot for them. And just in the matter of taking map control back, they can immediately swing down, get a large push going bottom with those 2 giant camps that are available. Jake's enjoying the reindeer skin, Rhaegar.
So well, okay, so just looking at the talents here, we see what they're going for. We have the quick release charge, so increase the number of bomb charges in 2. That's nice. If they pick up Soldier here, that would be huge. The Divine Storm is there, but the Ancestral is on point. The first member to fall is Brightwing, though, so the sustainability is down. 2 healers still available. Divine Storm not going to be coming out. It's not ready, and Equinox has to back up. That was a really risky sprint, and he's going to pay for it.
There was just a lack of what seemed to be communication between Sonya. They had a nice setup. They caught a lot of people in the Gravel Bomb, and just getting the leap on top of that would have done wonders for them in that fight. As it stands, Temple Storm takes a 4-1. There are 2 temples available on the map. We just saw the middle temple cleaned up. They're going to rotate up, have someone capture the top one. They can continue to put pressure on the map. They can take both sets of giant camps. They can just start putting pressure on the cores an entire just about 20 seconds on average for all these members of Murlocs Inc. to come back up.
The bosses will be up in 10 seconds
they
here.
They are about to hit level 16, and hopefully it gets them quite a bit more utility moving forward. We'll have to see what they grab. And they're picking right now double imposing presence. Once again, for that hammer, the splash damage will reduce her auto attack speed by 50%. That helps quite a bit. The hardened focus for the extra sustain on Malfurion, he has gone just about a full sustain. Yeah, that is a full sustain build. Still, though, this isn't enough. They really need to fix their issues that they have in communicating with those team fights. They need to just go for a full Wombo style, pretty much.
I mean, they had the first kill there, but it still looked very convincing against them. He dropped the turret and decided he's not happy with the placings. He's looking to reduce his cooldowns here. So he's actually using the turrets to reduce the cooldown on his heroic. A neat little mechanic by this Gazlo. The boss has been started by Temple Storm, and they are well aware of this. They're just looking, trying to find those damage dealers. Glaurung is waiting patiently for a big strafe. And there it is, across the wall. He has complete vision. He's getting so much damage done. The heals are coming out. The Gravel Bomb, hitting nothing. Divine Storm hits nothing as well. This is actually just terrible for Murlocs.
That bait was so good from Tempo Storm. They started, the hammers poking away at the boss. They said, okay, we have to go in to try and punish them. Vala sitting over the wall made it impossible for Uther to get over there to stun her out, and he was hitting 4 people with the full duration of the strafe. Soldier doesn't die. Like you mentioned, the grapple bomb completely whiffed. That is a 5-for-0 ace for Tempo Storm, and they are going to march to the core and end the game. They just, every single team fight was so much better executed by Tempo Storm.
Using the map, hiding Vala in that fight, everything they did was so on point, and then completely dodging the Wombo. Yeah. Well played by Tempo Storm, advancing 2-0 to the winners finals of Kings of the Storm Weekly 11.
They will be playing the winner of Cloud9 Maelstrom versus Barrel Boys. We were just talking about how that number 2 spot was sort of up for grabs, and that's a very nice way to determine that. Not that that's necessarily finalized, of course, and it will depend on who gets second place in this tournament. But this is it's a good time to check that.
Yeah.
To see if they have finished playing. Not quite yet.
Don't see an update just yet, but looking at the losers bracket.
Yeah. It looks as though ESV Wildfire has advanced over Beyond Reason. Of course, if you guys want to check this out for yourself, ! bracket in the chat. You guys can see the bracket. I'll give you a link to that.
And if you're on mobile or something and you can't type that in, you just go to kots.challenge.com and you will find all the information there.
It is a very mobile-friendly website, I would say. So do us a favor and check that out, guys, so you can stay up to date for the status of this tournament. I think we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll come back in about 5 minutes to let you know what the status is of the other semifinal match. If it is still going on, we'll just let you know. You know, it's going into Game 3. We'll take a 20-minute break or something to that effect. Maybe we could hop in on a game of losers bracket. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we're going to
figure it out. Things are timed out well enough. Otherwise, guys, stick around for just a little bit. We'll be back in about 5 minutes.